Hey everybody, thank you for pressing play. In this video I want to show you this car here. This is Honda Civic. It's a 2018 one. It's a 1.5, what's called a sport version. It's a really super nice car. I love them. They're one of my favourite cars that I sell here at the garage. And in this video we're going to look around the car. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the features on the outside of the car and the inside of the car, and we're going to go for a decent drive in the car as well, and by the end of it you'll have a good idea what the car is all about. To get started, like we're saying, Brian is my name. Call, text, WhatsApp 08684319945 if you want to know about scrapping a car, trading in a car, if you want to know about this car, if you want to know about finance, whatever it is, don't be afraid to give me a shout. And we are Fitzpatrick's Garage, a family run business in operation for almost 70 years. Let's start off by just looking at one thing on these cars. The boot is friggin' gigantic. We have one of these cars at home. It's a 1 litre version. Unfortunately I couldn't fit in the 1.5 into our budget, but it is the same boot and it is absolutely massive. Really useful, because we had a buggy in the back and I found it actually was one of the best boots I've seen in this segment of car. And the other thing as well is when you've got something awkward, you can also drop the seats down. But the main thing with 1.5, it's a cool looking car. If you drive behind these Civics, you get these lovely LED tail lights on them. At the front there's also nice LED parkers, and one thing that's on all the Civics, I love them little side runners that are on them. But 1.5 has these nice LED indicators up through here. There's also LED dip lights in here. There's also LED full lights in through there. And even things like the fog lights are also LED. And I quite like the way there's also light washers on these 1.5 versions as well. There's lovely spoilers on the rear of the car, and they're functional because they channel air off the car in an aerodynamic way, but they also look pretty damn cool as well. In terms of the inside of the car, there's along here electrics for windows, chai lock back through here, nice brushed aluminium on the doors, and over here then there's also a tweeter, and there's also a speaker down through here as well. Apologies about the light, I know it's not great, I'm struggling to get the videos done at the moment, but in terms of the back, there's hard wearing nylon with an armrest in the back, and noise of fixed points and all that stuff you'd expect, usual electrics for windows and mirrors up front, and again a tweeter up here and also a speaker in the door. In terms of the inside, that driver's seat, again hard wearing nylon, it's also got lumbar support for your lower back, and the steering wheel's also got a rake reach function. Like you're saying, 1.5 is really cool and aggressive looking because it's got a body kit on the outside, so the skirts are much longer on the front and the rear, and there's also nice skirts down the side. And there's such a cool looking car, especially with that exhaust up through the middle when you drive behind them at night time. And if you look in your rear view mirror when you see something like this coming up behind you, again it's a really aggressive car. In terms of how they drive on the road, there's independent rear suspension, so all the Civics, 1.5, 1 litre, 1.6 diesel, they all sit on the road really nice. It's a nice cabin to be in. We're going to have a better look around that as we drive the car anyway. But in terms of on the back road, there's a lovely steering, there's nice gear change, and actually if you read any independent motoring journalist that's talked about these, they always comment about how nice the gear change is on the car. So it's an interesting, rewarding car to drive. The engine gets me really excited. I just really like how it drives, but it's not a massive engine. It's not difficult in fuel, it's not difficult in road tax, but it's still very enjoyable to drive overall. Some people might say, well, you know, do I need any extra power like that in a car? I suppose there is situations. Say for example you pull up to a junction, and suppose where I pull out every morning, it's a busy road, and yeah, you do need a bit of power to get up the road. So like you're saying, it's an enjoyable car on the back road, but there's nice power as well, and you'll see going from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, staying within the speed limit. You can have fun, but it's also practical when you're trying to get across a road like this. So let's see how it goes. As we said, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, 7.9 seconds. The car makes 182 horsepower and approximately 240 newton meters of torque. And I like that boost gauge. When you put your foot down, it builds up and you can feel the rush of power coming to the engine as well. But even when you're cruising, there's nice functions over here. Cruise control is actually adaptive. So you can see up here, light comes on. I set the cruise control and it'll actually tell me, it'll follow the car in front. So when they slow down, I end up slowing down as well, which is really cool. And there's also a lane keep assist function. So over here, I can switch that on, and that's actually actively keeping the car between the two lanes on the road, which is quite useful. Even I suppose on lanes like this where you're in the centre of the road and either side people can come along, you can drift along sometimes. And down here I've also got a lane warning, so if I drift out of lane, it'll vibrate the wheel, and it'll also help me go back to the centre as well. So small features, but they are useful safety features overall, and they're becoming common in a lot of cars. Trip information in through here, average speed, fuel information, navigation, maintenance information, and the boost gauge, which is all ready, which is my favourite one. Things like the wipers and the headlights on these cars are also completely automatic as well, which is quite useful, and even the headlights dip when you meet traffic also, which I think is quite nice. And then in the screen here in the centre, there's navigation, which is a Garmin navigation setup. After that then I can go into audio functions, which are going to be things like streaming music or using USB, lots of different ways, or even digital radio as well. And after that then, when I move across, I can even have things like Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, which is dead nice. And you've got Google Maps, which to be fair is superior to the Garmin that comes on the car. Climate is down through here, so again it's digital and it's touch and swipe, so swipe your finger up along there to speed up or slow down the fan, or select where I want the air to blow from, and also different temperatures on each side of the car as well. Down through the centre then you got a USB connector here, but there's actually a second USB connector in the armrest when you slide it back out of the way as well. So that's quite useful when there's two people in the car. Other things I actually haven't mentioned, things like headlight washers down through here, we saw them on the outside. Parking sensors are on the rear, but they're also on the front as well. Collision mitigation, which means if you don't touch the brake pedal, it's going to try and stop you from hitting the car in front under 32 kilometers an hour. Up here will also tell you the current speed zone that you're in when you're driving. And like what we saw, there's a USB point down in through here, but there's also a HDMI point as well, and another 12 volt outlet as well. Down through here then you've also got an electronic park brake and a brake hold function, which stops you rolling backwards on a hill. And also, actually, to go with those sensors, how do I forget, it's got a parking camera, which is dynamic guidelines to tell you trajectory, and there's also different modes in the camera as well. So there you have it. Anyway, that is a really nice car. I think it's got power, it's fun, it's something different, it looks cool, it drives good, but it's actually got lots of comfort features as well, and it can be pragmatic as well with a good cabin space and a big boot. Anyway, if you want information on this car, 086 843 1945, Brian is my name. If you want information on trading in your car, scrapping a car, finance, or just about the car in general, please do not hesitate to give me a shout, call, text, WhatsApp. Thanks a million for taking time to watch. Hopefully the car is of interest to you.